counties are listed by the CDC as being areas of high community transmission, with Glades County listed as having substantial community transmission. As a reminder, the updated CDC guidance recommends that fully vaccinated individuals wear a mask indoors settings in areas of substantial or high transmission. So that means every single county in the state of Florida. This surge is real, but we can and we will be able to stop the spread. Of that, I'm certain of today, because and thanks to the leadership of Miami-Dade County, Orange, and Leon County, the Broward School Board, Ford, Disney, and many others. The message is very simple. Get vaccinated. Make smart decisions to protect your families, protect your communities, protect your customers. Make sure that we are following the CDC science-based guidance. And just be smart, Floridians. We know what's in front of us. We know what is here. We know how to stop the spread. We've been hearing it for the last year and a half. Mask up, get vaccinated, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, social distance where appropriate, and make sure you're making smart decisions on behalf of your family and on behalf of your friends. Percentages of people die. You know what? That's really irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Even as numbers are starting to increase in our hospitalizations, I know that I stay away from people who have the flu because I don't want to get sick. We tell people to stay home when they are not feeling well in the workforce so they're not getting the rest of their colleagues and peers sick. This is common sense. We're taught this at a very young age. When a kid coughs in school, you tell them to cover their mouth. That's what we're doing here. It's just being smart. Things that we're taught at a very early age in life of how to protect yourself from being exposed to other types of illnesses. Even think about chickenpox. You keep your kids home when they have chickenpox to make sure that they don't spread chickenpox in school. So we're asking the same thing. Take personal responsibility. Work with your healthcare providers. Work with your community organizers and your leaders. Step up, be a patriot, be smart, get the vaccine, and help all of us stop the spread of COVID-19, this Delta variant, to make sure that our economy continues to flourish and can make sure that we are doing everything possible to keep our communities safe so we can get through this together. And I know that we will build back better as long as we get this virus behind us. So I'm happy to take additional questions.
Commissioner, is it really fair for governments or businesses to tell their employees get vaccinated or get out?
You know, we all know that the vaccines are saving lives. We know that. We know it's stopping the spread. And so we need to encourage our local businesses, our local governments to do everything that they can to encourage people to get vaccinated. And I think that that's what you're seeing a lot with our local governments, with our local corporations. And I talk to small business owners all day long, and they are asking for support and for help. They are stuck in a very tough situation where you might have an office that half the people aren't vaccinated. What tools do these different companies and these small business owners have in order to protect their customers, to protect their employees? And so we have been asking everybody to get creative, think outside the box when encouraging your fellow employees to get vaccinated.
Commissioner, with that said, Leon County, for example, it's either get the shot or find work elsewhere. There's a difference between encouraging people to get vaccinated and strong-arming them to do it. Do you think there's a difference between those two?
Certainly again, I go back onto personal choice. And we certainly are not going to want to strong arm people. And I said this yesterday too. We don't want people to feel also making people feel guilty or shame of them. But we need to be thinking outside the box and creative on how to encourage. And you know what I go back to is local governments are the ones who got us through this the first time. We know that. All of our local governments across the state stepped up, came up with different ideas of whether it was mask mandates, whether it was social distancing, closing down different operations locally. But it was our local governments who stood up, know what's best for their own communities. And again, every county in our state is different, has different challenges ahead of them, different population sizes, different ways that people interact with one another. And we need to rely on their leadership of knowing what is best for their employees and what's best for their communities. And so we need to show support on a state level for the things that the local governments are doing to at least encourage and to support the vaccinations.
Within the Department of Agriculture, are you looking at having a mask mandate for those who are not vaccinated?
We already, we were always following the CDC guidelines, and so that we continue to evolve as the CDC guidelines go. And so up until this point, the CDC guidelines were that if you were not vaccinated, you were supposed to still be wearing a mask. And so that hasn't changed inside the Department of Agriculture. We are now, obviously, as CDC is making some additional changes, we are going through and internally making those adjustments where necessary, but we're always going to continue to conform with what the CDC is recommending.
Well, Commissioner, would you contemplate telling your employees to get vaccinated or get a new job?
We have not gotten there yet. We are thinking of, again, creativity as far as encouraging people to get the vaccines, coming up with, again, challenges inside of the department. And so we are not close at all to making that type of determination.
Can you talk a little bit about the process of acquiring these numbers that you're going to be sharing with the public?
Sure. We are in constant communication with the CDC, as well as the White House's task force on COVID, to make sure that we're getting the most up-to-date information, to make sure that we are giving out consistent information from the White House and what is coming out from the CDC. So that's where most of our information is coming from.
And there was like a little Twitter battle between your communications director and the governor's press secretary yesterday over those numbers. I mean, why do you think it is that they're not giving out those numbers daily if they're readily available?
That is the greatest question of our time today, is if this information is accessible to the Department of Health and they're giving it to the CDC, why are we making the people of our state jump through hoops? That's why we are doing this every single day, to give everybody information. If the governor's office and Department of Health has this information, fantastic. Put it onto the daily reporting sites. This is a simple, we were doing that up until 2 months ago, and the only reason I can even fathom of why we're not doing that is because they don't want to recognize our current trajectory of our spikes and where the numbers are going. If there was ever a concern not of that, then there should be no reason why they shouldn't be doing daily reporting. All right, well, thank you again. I go back to get vaccinated, be smart out there, Florida. We are gonna get through this together because our economy depends on it, our health depends on it, our children depend on us making the right decisions for them. So just be smart out there.